Hey, what's up? Joshua here. This is a quick little intro to a video about money. I taught a workshop on project management last night, and I think I made a compelling argument to the participants in that class that when they're estimating projects, they are almost certainly underestimating them due to a number of factors, one of which is oftentimes glossing over the not fun parts of the project, which is where a ton of time gets eaten up. Someone had the question of, now having seen this, I'm realizing that how long my projects are taking is much more than how long I thought they were taking, and I was underestimating them. I have a feeling that means my clients were really underestimating them. So if I start to accurately bill, my asking prices are going to start jumping up, and how do I handle that? This video gets into the mindset that I think you need to have if you're going to ask for the amount of money that your work actually costs and that your hourly rate for being alive actually costs. I hope that this is helpful and addresses both what I think can be misconceptions as well as sort of false belief patterns that we tend to have about money. Certainly stuff I wish I had known a lot earlier. Enjoy this, and I don't know, go calculate your cost of being alive so that you have a lot more confidence in asking for enough money. Take it easy.
I think there's two things. One is just owning your process and what it costs. Here's a good example, because I was just listening to someone talk about this today. The guy that is going to manage the Supreme store in San Francisco has been in training by Supreme for 10 months to manage one store of an established brand. Now, maybe that's what Starbucks is like too. And Starbucks is amazing, right? I highly doubt it. So, and they're paying him well to do that. So one of the things that I think about is everything that I can find an example of someone doing it for no money, someone else is doing it for real money. Whether it's a record cover, a poster, even like a dead technology. Like if you do like a freelance book project and no one knows who you are, the amount of money you get is laughable. It is peanuts. It literally will work out to be $3 an hour, even if you try to do it as fast as is humanly possible. But then if you're Stefan Sagmeister, it will literally say on the cover, designed by Stefan Sagmeister. It doesn't matter that it's not especially innovative, it's just a solid book. And then you'll get $110,000 for the same project that I would have gotten $5,000 for. So I try to remember there's always these massive gaps, and like I grew up like literally at times on welfare, so I cannot use my understanding of what's cheap or what's expensive as any kind of a guideline, since like I can't read minds and like I wouldn't spend that much money on something. So one of the things then is to be like, this is it, this is how much money I need to make an hour, that's the project, and then just owning it, and then you can decide how to compromise. But the other thing is, one of the reasons that like our studio has secondary, they're not secondary, they're just different processes, is we used to get like a little project from the soap factory and we'd get like $1,400 to do like a double-sided 11x17 mailer. We could do it really fast, but sometimes it never clicked. The concept never came together. And then it was disappointing. Like it was good enough to send out in the mail. It wasn't like it was bad. It just wasn't special because like it never came together. But we were doing it that fast to meet a certain deadline and to make it make sense financially. But if I do like, so we call that like the typographer method, and we have another one that we call the producer method. If I do that, I can do projects that if I have a month to do them, I can do it in 24 hours and show the client 20 versions. So over the course of a month, I can work on something for 24 hours and I can show them 20 versions. They can be broke as shit and afford that process. So the other thing is like, if there are ways of working that you can match to those budgets where you still do good work, you just do it in a different way, that's kind of a game changer. Because it's like, those projects, like I just know I can do them super fast and I love the output. It'd be one thing if I did it and I was like, oh, this sucks. But I know that it is gonna be good and I know that the process leads somewhere. Just like I know that if I have a month, our process leads to good conceptual results, but I can't shortchange all the stuff that needs to happen in the research, analysis, and ideation phase just to make something pretty. So I think there's like these two sides to it. And then the other thing is you have to decide what projects are investments in your portfolio. That's always dangerous though, because then you're always designing against the idea that I need to get something out of this. And that's at least a low level toxicity, because you're using other people's stuff that matters to them to make you be fancy when you could just like, you could do what every design student in the world does, make up a fake thing and then design it. Like, why are you making someone pay you to make your portfolio? It seems like kind of absurd, rather than like find the processes that work, take the work that makes sense, and then out of that, what work was portfolio worthy? Because some of it is like cool, but not as good as the other stuff you've made. Boom. I think it's all about like what matters to you and then what you're comfortable with. But when you do this kind of stuff, then you have a lot more confidence to ask for fair amounts of money. The other thing is audit your lifestyle. Like, how much does it cost for you to be alive for the past hour? That will change. Look, people are like, oh, how much should I charge? You should charge pretty much double what it cost you to be alive for the last hour. Like, super simple. We'll cover the expenses that just accrued right now, the student loan interest, the credit card interest, the car payment, the rent, all of that stuff. And then you'll know that you'll hopefully have enough for your savings and other stuff. But that gives you that massive boost of confidence, because when you all of a sudden go like, oh wow, it's expensive for me to be alive. Then you don't feel so bad telling your friends like, sorry, it's 95 bucks an hour. Like, if you can't afford it, that's fine. Like, work with someone that you can afford. But it's like having that reality check helps, because then you can decide like, do you do a favor because you have the time and the finances to afford to do a favor? Rather than what a lot of people do is they start doing all these favors because they're being greedy and they want every dollar that they can get, even though they can't afford to take that dollar because they can't afford to do the project because it's not enough money. And I think that's how a lot of design studios drive themselves into the ground, is because they're taking on all this work because they don't have the confidence to say no, and then maybe the hustle to go and get the work that they should get. And instead they're like, they're trying to make all these $1,400 flyers pay the rent, and like, you gotta do a lot of flyers to support a family off like $1,400 a pop, speaking from experience. So I think it's that combination of things. You make sure the process works for you, and then you make sure you know all those costs, and then it's just not hard to start to ask for fair amounts of money. And then just remind yourself that no matter what the activity is, there is someone on this planet that gets paid a ridiculous amount of money to do that activity. And graphic design might not seem that special, but like, look, making salads has been around for 1,000,000 years, and I guarantee there's somebody right now that's making salads and getting paid $3 million a year making salads for some actor. Like, and that's a stupid activity. So like, graphic design's not worse than that. Like, I feel like, you know what I mean? It's like, it doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter how bad or weird it is. Somebody is like making serious money off that same dumb activity. So why not let it be you and graphic design? That would be my 2 cents.